Yo, boys, in this video, I want to talk to you about basically troubleshooting why you aren't making sales after you've went viral or after you've gotten a lot of views. And in the past, I've made a video on this and basically explained how a lot of the time it's the concept that you used, not being focused enough on the product. And that's why you didn't go and make sales from going viral. But this video is going to be a little bit more in depth in terms of how to actually tell what the exact issue is. So not just telling you this is one of the reasons, but telling you what the issue could be and all the different issues it could be and how to kind of diagnose the reason. So you're not making the wrong decision, right? So you're not going and saying, oh, well, it's the product. The product doesn't convert, when really it was the concept or the website or even the price on your website. So your offer, or, saying, oh, my website's not converting, but really you just have a dog shit product, et cetera, et cetera. So let's start with the basics. If your product does not convert after going viral, there's going to be, really three main reasons. First one is going to be either not focused enough on the actual product itself, and then you go viral, you hit the wrong audience, an audience of people who don't want to buy your product, or you somehow make a piece of content that targets third world countries and gets a bad audience. A lot of the time that's going to be through sounds and whatnot, but that's another reason in terms of like audience mismatch and why you won't see conversions for your views. Another reason, your second reason, of course, is just going to be, conversion rate on your actual store. But there's multiple things that go into this, right? Your price of the product, your offer, that's going to dictate a lot. And I'm going to get into that in a second. And then, of course, just the basics on your website in terms of what's actually going to make it convert. But in terms of what you should be looking for, there's going to be like one or two main things. Really, what you need to pay attention to after you go viral and you're not making sales, you need to look at the sessions on your website, okay? Really simply put, if you go viral or you get a lot of views and you don't get a lot of sessions on your store, that means it's either going to be a product issue or a concept issue, because the break, or kind of where we're finding the issue within the funnel, right? Because if we were to explain the funnel of you running your stores, it's going to start from video to then your website and then them checking out, right? That's your simple funnel. From video, click the link in my bio. From the bio, they purchase a product from your store. That is your funnel. Every product you run has a funnel, a sales funnel. So within the funnel where you see a break, if it's between going from your video to your website, which would mean no sessions or little sessions from the amount of views you got, that would either mean a bad product, or you went viral for the wrong reason, or you just simply hit the wrong audience. So very first thing you should do, if you go viral and you don't start making sales, you check Shopify sessions. If the sessions are low compared to the views you got, there are three things you need to check, or three things you kind of need to pay attention to. Very first thing is go check your analytics and see what countries the video is going viral in. If the video is hitting third world countries or outside of the country you're trying to target, that is the reason it's not converting views to sales. If the video is, and so the second thing you want to go look at is the video hitting that, your actual target country? If it is, there's a few other things you want to look for. The second, but before you decide, okay, the product's ass, the very next thing before you can make that decision that you need to look at is comments. Okay, go check the comments of the post and see what everyone is focused on. Are people just straight up glazing the product? Are people talking about the benefits or how cool the product is? Or are people talking about something completely irrelevant to the actual product, and you can just literally sense a lack of demand for people even caring about the product in general? Sorry, excuse me. If you see no demand and you see kind of everybody just everywhere talking about maybe one little part of the video, or maybe a strong piece of controversy you implemented, or the concept you used, and you see everybody focused on that and not the product, then okay, I wasn't focused enough on the product and it was the concept, and that's the reason I'm not converting views to sales. The final thing that you should be paying attention to, if everything checks out, you have, perfect country, you're hitting US or you're hitting UK or you're hitting Germany, wherever you want to target, or whatever your target demographic is, or wherever you're targeting for your product and for the products you're running, if it's there, and then you check the comments and you notice just the normal kind of demand. Oh, I love this product. Oh, where can I get it? Oh, how can I buy this? How can I blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And you can tell the actual demand is on the product. Then that's when you can decide and finally say, okay, And once again, this is keeping in mind that we're not having a large amount of sessions on the actual store itself. Then you can say, okay, it probably is a product issue. If this were to occur, I would try to keep pushing and maybe try to go viral or get a decent amount of views one more time before actually sitting there and saying, okay, the product is bad. Okay, but then of course you can use your own conviction. If you're already kind of on the fence about it and then this occurs, you can just throw the product out and move on. Now, let's talk about getting sessions on your store after going viral but not making sales. If you're getting sessions at all, like if it's relevant at all to the views that you got for whatever video you're going viral with, to a good amount of sessions on your store, then automatically it wasn't the concept, you didn't go viral for the wrong reason, and the product is good because you did everything correctly enough for people to take the step within the funnel to go from your video and watching the product, enjoying the product, wanting to buy the product, having demand for the product, to then taking that next step in the funnel to making it to your website to buy it, okay? So your video and the product has done its job. That's the only thing they can do is take people from the video to your website, and then your website has to do the rest. Your website, so that's kind of a good kind of way you can think about it. Your video and your product, their job and their goal is to bring people to your website, and then your website, the goal of your website is to sell that person and get them to buy, okay? So sessions on your store, after going viral, product did its job, video did its job. What's not doing its job if you're having sessions but not converting? The website. But it's much deeper than just, it's just not converting. The website isn't converting. Of course, outside of the basics, high CVR websites, go watch a few YouTube videos on it and you can get the basics. The website, actual conversion mechanisms and how you have it laid out and stuff. Inorganic, don't get me wrong, it does play a role, but it's not going to be make or break, making zero sales out of thousands of sessions. A lot of the time, if you have at least the basics in, then of course your checkout works properly. What the issue is your offer. So the price of the product does not match the perceived value of the product itself. So if you're selling a product that somebody is assuming, or the main consensus of everyone that has demand for the product, their assumption is this product, okay, I'd spend $30 on this product or $20 on this product, but they hop on your website and it's $75, you have a misaligned perceived value and cost or price of product. Does that make sense? So almost 9 times out of 10, of course, getting the basics of conversion rate optimization out of the way on the store, which is super stupid simple. I mean, there's the worst of the worst websites out there that convert at 1%. 9 times out of 10, your biggest issue is going to be price of product. So you need to tweak your offer. There's a few ways you can do that. Almost always, you're going to want to change the price, okay? And let's say a lot of you guys are greedy. You'll get out here and you'll get a product, your cost of goods is like $5, and then you're like, oh my God, I can have like an 80% profit margin, and I'm gonna price it at 30 or $40, okay? If that's you, awesome. Now you have the free will or the room to still get a good profit margin and just move down your price, and that'll immediately increase your conversions, okay? Another way you can do that is just by simply tweaking your offer, right? So maybe adding freebies, adding gifts, bundles, et cetera, to make it make more sense for them to spend the amount of money that they're gonna spend. No matter what, you're gonna have to tweak your offer. So if you can't, maybe introduce a freebie on top of the product itself, or optimize for, a few upsells here and there for your average order value to be increased for it to then make sense, you have to negotiate with your supplier, or find a new supplier, or you have to drop the product if you're not okay with taking 30 or 40% profit margin. But don't get it twisted, okay? We live in this amazing world of organic dropshipping since we don't pay for ads that we get these 50, 60, 70, 80% profit margins. But if you already have really, and I just, half the reason I'm making this video is because I was just talking to a student of mine like 2-3 days ago, and this was kind of an issue going on. He was like, I thought this was like a 1 to 2K per mail product. What's happening? It's not converting. And very first thing I did, I said, okay, what are the sessions on your store? He had like 1,000 or 2,000 sessions on his store. For the product, it was most definitely overpriced, like $20 overpriced. And then he starts explaining to me for the first time, well, yeah, my supplier only gave me this price. This supplier, I tried this supplier and that supplier, but they only gave me this price. And I kind of had to have a talk with him. And basically, I had to explain it to him, and hopefully this might help you as well when it comes to making this decision. It's like, we're spoiled with these 50, 60, 70, 80% profit margins. But just think about it this way. You've already put all this work in. You've already, there's nothing we can do at the moment especially, the tariffs haven't affected stuff that much, but especially with, the tariffs in mind, it's like if we could just kind of drop it a few bucks, it would all make sense, but we can't, especially with these tariffs, because the actual product itself, it's just, on like these, like in terms of tariffs, these sort of higher perceived value products, these higher cost products, they aren't affected as much, right? If you have to increase a few dollars on a product that already costs you $20 to source, it's not that big a deal. But if you have like a product that you would want to be sourcing at $5 to $10, and now you're having to source it at a few bucks more, that throws off a lot, right? So I had to kind of break it down to him. And like I said, I hope this helps you. It's kind of like, you've already done all this work. You already have a primed IG. You're already ripping. You have the proof of concept down. We're going to continue to go viral. And it's like, would you rather, a 50% profit margin on $1,000 in sales, or a 30% profit margin on 10K in sales, right? And that's kind of the decision you have to make. And then guys, I mean, don't get it twisted. You can always, as time goes on, you can, negotiate here. Maybe your supplier ends up hitting you with a better price randomly, or maybe you find a better supplier as time goes on. So I don't think it's smart, if you end up in that position that I talked about previously, to just throw the product out as a whole, especially if you already have momentum going on. But I had that call with a student a couple days ago, and I thought, wow, that'd be a great video to make on YouTube. And if you're still watching up until now, guys, and you want help kind of with guidance like this, and guidance of, how I was talking to that other student and helped him kind of realize, not to just throw out a product completely, to help him still go make money, and also to be there to guide him on, what to do when he ended up in this situation, and, continuing to just help him print with organic, just like all of our other students. I'll leave a link down below in the description. You can click on it, book a call with me personally, where we'll see if you'd be a good fit to work with me and my team of 6 to 7 figure organic dropshippers. And we may or may not be able to help you go and make a full-time income with organic and hit, that multi 6-figure mark. But with all that being said, that's all I have for you guys today. And hopefully now you're able to sit there and diagnose every single time that you get views and go viral, but you're not making any sales.